The thumbnail for this video was designed by, once again, DJones at DJones Art, and he did it just within a few hours. This man is unbelievable. I will leave links to his Twitter and his DeviantArt. Show him some love, because this is incredible work. Let's get to the video. Lately, we've all been talking about the Grand Priest and his possible ulterior motive as to what he may actually be planning, and the possibility that he will betray the gods and the mortals and create some sort of revolt. But the question is, why? What is the Grand Priest's motives, and where is the story going? Well, the beautiful thing about Dragon Ball Super is, well, it's very, very unpredictable, but I think I may have figured it out, and I'm really excited to share it with all of you, so let's talk about it.
This is Lord Beerus, and unless you want your planet destroyed, subscribe to Geekdom 101. It's even better than pudding.
So the idea being passed around and shared is that the Daishinkan is taking some sort of joy and has some kind of secret plan in the Tournament of Power to wipe away the other universes. Now, it was told to us that Zeno had already planned to destroy the other universes, or at least the lower universes. That was already planned, but it was Goku's tournament that sort of made it into a game. Now, what could be the Grand Priest's ultimate plan here? And where is the story going? Well, earlier this week I did 2 videos covering this subject, and specifically I talked about how even though Goku versus Jiren is being promoted as the main event, and I'm using air quotes for that, the main event of this arc, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the final battle. In fact, I don't know if it is, but also it could be the final battle of this tournament, but it may lead to the arc after the tournament, which will be the Revolution of the Angels if the story goes in that direction. It certainly is more than ever before being teased. Now, what could be the Grand Priest's motive for destroying the universes? Well, let's go back a few weeks ago. What did Whis tell our heroes in Universe 7? There is a mortal in one of the universes that supposedly can compete with, if not rival, the gods. I got tons of requests from several people asking me to do a video on it, and I was going to do a video on it, but I wanted to think about it a little bit before I actually did the video. So if we look at that piece of the puzzle of Whis telling us that, that is without question the Dragon Ball Super writers giving us a clue of something that could be important or will be important later on. Now the question is, who is this mysterious fighter that can rival the gods? Well, the number one suspect is of course Jiren, because he's promoted so heavily, because he's been put over as being a guy who's even stronger than Topo, and Topo was said to be able to come close to a God of Destruction level, or at least be a candidate to be a God of Destruction. So Jiren is the number one suspect as far as that, theme goes. The other suspect I think that we should look at now, especially with the brand new poster that was released from the Dragon Ball Super Twitter account that everyone's been talking about, is of course Goku. Now obviously Goku is not the character that Beerus is referring to, so I don't know if necessarily he's the guy, but the idea that Goku could become as strong as Jiren, or maybe even surpass him, could be something that could lend itself to creating a problem for the Daishinkan and the Angels. I don't think Goku is the guy, but he may end up being one of the guys who may end up being a problem in the future for the Angels. Basically the idea here and the motive behind the Daishinkan's plan, and of course this is just a theory, this is not something that has been explained in Super yet, but it might be if I'm right, and if I'm wrong it's okay too, is that the Daishinkan may have recognized that mortals are becoming very, very strong. This is very similar to the revelation that Zamasu had about mortals interacting with gods. Obviously, Goku has been interacting with Beerus since he woke up, way back in the Battle of Gods arc. Obviously, the Daishinkan was surprised to see Whis interacting with Goku. Whis and Supreme Kai interacting with Goku. No different than Zamasu. There are very similar parallels here. So if the Grand Priest is going to be a villain, I could totally see the storyline being that he thinks the same way that Zamasu thinks, which is that the mortals should not be interacting with gods, but now it's becoming more of a problem because now it's becoming one of those situations where the mortals are getting to grow in power and may end up causing problems for the gods. And thus his whole idea is, instead of having just Zeno wipe away the universes that are lower ranked, why don't we instead create a tournament? That way the Daishinkan could possibly scout possible future candidates to help him in his revolt against the Omni King, or possibly have a fun way of having the Omni King do the dirty work for him. In other words, in the tournament, because of the strange rules in the tournament, which I do believe were suggested by the Daishinkan, it makes it easier for him to orchestrate his plan. So think about this. Why would the Daishinkan prohibit flying and make it a Royal Rumble type tournament? Why would that be the case? Because when you have a tournament that is multiple people and you can't fly, it prohibits these strong characters from being able to do what they do best, and it makes the tournament about more than just power. So if the mysterious mortal that is more powerful than gods is in this thing and he's super strong, he may not necessarily win. And if he does not win, then the angels have nothing to worry about because Zeno's going to wipe them away anyways. Because I don't think that any of these guys still are on Zeno's level. I don't think that Goku at any point in Super is going to be able to achieve the power of the Omni King. I could be wrong. I don't think so. So it could be the Daishinkan's clever way of wiping the universes away and basically using Zeno's power to wipe away a character who may be able to someday rival him. And that's the whole mentality behind the Daishinkan turn, is it might not just be something that he wants for power. It could also be something where he fears these mortals getting stronger, just like Zamasu did, and could be using this tournament as a way to quickly wipe them away. Now, one theory that somebody hit me up with recently was the Harry Potter Horcrux theory for Zeno. And this is a pretty interesting theory. It has not been hinted in Dragon Ball Super, but I like the idea. This idea is that whenever Zeno destroys the universe, he ends up losing power. Like a little bit of his power, his life force is drained as he destroys universes, but he doesn't even realize it until afterward. Again, just a theory. And that makes me wonder, of course, if this is going to lead to eventually the Grand Priest using that to overthrow him. Now, I'm not saying that if all the universes get destroyed that Zeno will die, because obviously the future Zeno did not die when he destroyed them all. But it could be something to where he's rendered weaker, and at that point, the throne of the multiverse could become easily obtainable by somebody like the Grand Priest, who, as far as we know, cannot compete with Zeno. Now, what I find interesting, of course, is where we're going with the characters that are mortal. I could totally see this arc leading into another arc where we have Goku and Jiren, in fact, teaming up. Not just those two, but also possibly Golden Frieza or True Golden Frieza, possibly Hit, possibly Gohan, Topo, the strongest fighters that we have teaming up against the Angels. That's what I think the storyline could be going if, of course, the supposed turn of the Angels is true. Now, this is very exciting because this idea of having all the mortals teaming up against all the Angels is such a crazy storyline, and to me is probably the only thing that can really top what we've seen so far in Super. I mean, this is like getting crazy at this point, but I could totally see that being the end game here, at least for this, arc of Super or the next one, is Goku, Jiren, Hit, Frieza, maybe even Kale, probably not, but, some of the stronger fighters from all the universes coming together to save and preserve the throne of Zeno, or save and preserve their own lives, because the Grand Priest might be using Zeno to delete, like Matt Hardy would say, the strongest mortal in existence, or at least the one that can compete with the gods. But for all we know, this mysterious strongest mortal might not even be competing in the tournament. There are 4 universes that are exempt, and I do believe that the Dragon Ball Super writers are purposely doing this because I think that there might be more powerful characters and possible future rivals for Goku in these 4 exempt universes, 1, 5, 8, and 12, and that could lead to storylines in the future. So understand, even though Dragon Ball Super's ratings do go up and down week by week, the series is still very profitable, very successful, and they have to have more storylines, so I could totally see this being a long arc. I mean, if you include if they're going to have the Angels betray the mortals and Zeno, this could lead into next year. I mean, this storyline could be going on until next summer if they take their time with it. Don't forget that Dragon Ball Z had ridiculously long story arcs, and when it was airing in Japan, I mean, the Frieza saga was like 2 years of TV time. So, it's just how it is over there, and they could totally stretch this out and do that. So let me know what you think about the possibility of Goku, Jiren, Hit, and the other mortals facing off against the Angels. Do you think that maybe there's something to my theory about Grand Priest fearing this mortal that could overthrow them, or fearing the possibility of mortals getting too strong? Is there something to that? Do you think he wants the throne of Zeno? I want to hear the comment, and I may do a follow-up stream on this in the next couple weeks and kind of get you guys' thoughts, live on the air and discuss your theories there. But thank you, as always, for supporting the channel. It means so much to me. Punch subscribe. Hit the bell if you have not hit it yet. Helps you get notified when I upload. And thank you for watching, as always. I love you all. And don't forget to set your goals high. And don't stop until you get there. I'll catch you down the road.